I don't think I need to be back in there for whatever reason.
That's a restream. It's like a full client on there. Yeah, I think I've got it because it's showing Twitch and YouTube chat. I think we're good. But still keep an eye on the chat. You're pretty good. You're pretty good at keeping up with it.
Oh, watch now, yes. It's stupid. Oh, I can see Moomy around. Alright, that makes sense. YouTube.
There's that notification. Oh, my back.
Hi. That's done.
Thinking about tearing down this room. We've never sat at that table.
Nothing will be amiss.
No, I could break it down and just have it off to the side in case we're going to do something local, but it seems like this is going to be the MO going forward for a while. It works. It works, though. So I started thinking all those nights we were recording until like 1 in the morning and then going to Waffle House and shit. There were some late nights. Oh, Renee's on. I see Renee in the chat. Perfect. He was testing me.
Yes, he's always on the YouTubes. He just went out of town yesterday.
Nice. We'll catch him up on all his Gamescom news he missed out on.
He literally played Apex Legends all weekend, so I just talked about his game. He's
That's his games played?
Yep, games played for him as Apex Legends.
See if he got any top finishes.
What do I have?
Me and Cesar beat the game, and I played it a couple times after that, and never again. It's probably a totally different game.
Yeah, they just did a big season update not too long ago.
There was no topping that finish, though. There was no way we were going to have a more epic finish than that. Being up above the map and, like, shooting that robot thing across to the top of the tree and shit. It was never going to get better than that. That was awesome. All right, we got 4 people with us. Minimum, at least. I wish it wouldn't double my Skype window. That's the worst part about getting loaded. Because I never have to keep up with that one.
You're loaded right now?
Loaded. Locked and loaded, Brant. Let's go. With your Atari t-shirt.
It's a nice t-shirt. I wonder where I got it from.
Loaded old school. All right. Make sure we're good to go. Let's go. 173. Timestamp. All right. You guys ready to rock and roll? Cesar, you want to wrap up what you're working on?
If he'll let me.
If it'll let you.
Yep.
We'll hang tight.
Oh, keep going. I'm doing some BS for work. It's gonna be a thing.
All right.
It's a problem with getting paid salary, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 173rd episode of the NOFODcast. We are no outside food or drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Some pretty good news. Well, some pretty good amount of news, I guess you could say. This week, what's missing from Halo Infinite's launch? Question mark. Another version of Skyrim announced? No. How can it be? Quake makes a surprise return. New Fortnite game mode is a little sus. I see what you did there, Brant. And we have your Gamescom announcements. We should be able to run through those fairly easily. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up, sir?
And Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello.
Wonderful to see you all this evening.
good to see you as well.
Every Wednesday.
Y'all can see me?
Yep. Camera's on this whole time.
Those curtains are
Good thing you're full
curtains are
glow.
kind of hard to see through though, Brant, from outside. You might want to.
Oh, okay.
That's where. We like what you've done with the place, but it's hard to see through the curtains now. It's not awkward. All right, let's get right to it. What's missing from Halo Infinite's launch? We got a launch date, which was a little later than expected, but unfortunately, campaign co-op and Forge. The quote from Joseph Staten says, when we looked at these two experiences, campaign co-op and Forge, we made the determination that they're just not ready. So we're going to keep campaign co-op and Forge in the oven for a little bit longer. When they're ready, we're going to release them as part of our seasonal roadmap next year. And they did part of that outline, and it's not in this article, but I think in the co-op mode was the second season, like 3 months out or something. And then the Forge was the season after that. Is that what they said? Season 3, so. The next one after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, any hot takes on this? Any quick?
And to add what you said, they're targeting those seasons.
Yeah.
So it's not a guarantee that they will actually hit in those seasons. That's just a target.
Written in stone.
So the goal post can move again. So
it's crazy to think that this game was supposed to be at the launch of the Series X and S. I mean, I'm looking at my box sitting on the floor, and I mean, I see Master Chief on the back.
He's like taking up the whole back. There's nothing else. It's not like the PlayStation boxes.
There's nothing else.
N64 boxes where they put a bunch of different games on there. It's just Master Chief.
Yeah.
Power your Chief.
And they delayed it a year, and now there's still some features that, and arguably could be said key features. Because, I mean, but, I mean, it is what it is at this point.
No, I'm laughing because somebody in Twitter will always have a counter argument, and somebody was taking up the cause because somebody was disappointed there was no co-op in there, and somebody was on there like, we don't want 4 Master Chiefs running around in co-op. That sucks. And I was laughing because like, that's a bad take. I laughed when I read this. I was like, this is a guy for real? I'm like, and I was like, okay. I didn't even respond. Twitter's a funny app, man. I just in there, I was laughing. I was like, okay. I'm laughing now because it just popped in my head. I was like, okay.
The only one where they recreated the character was the first one, right? You were basically 2 Master Chiefs running through the whole thing. Yeah. Like the first cutscene, they have 2 of you getting out of the hush casket and all that kind of stuff. So it's built for that. But ever since then, they added a different type character for that second player.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and like we say all the time, it's better than to take their time and release it when it is ready, rather than to release it broken. And
I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to play it for co-op and that's your thing, then wait till it's out and then buy it or download it or however you want to consume it.
That's probably the camp I'm in, because I do enjoy the campaigns, and I've played Halo co-op with everyone on the podcast, and I talk about Halo every week. But I'll definitely be waiting for that. You hope that the campaign spoilers aren't going to be everywhere, until that time comes up. But the stories aren't that deep to where, well, I would still be upset. But it's just, it's
there's already...
Oh, yeah, they got it.
There's already spoilers floating around from the first test.
They got it out of there, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I don't even let spoilers get me anymore, man. If you're going to watch it or play it, and then you're just going to watch it and play it. I mean, at that point.
It's not life-changing either way. If I read something, it's not like, oh, my God, because there's still, 12 to 15 hours of figuring out where you got to that point. Like, Brandon, have you played Gears 5 yet? Okay, There's a pivotal point in that story that Cesar and I were in complete shambles about. But if you had thrown that out there and you had told me that, I'd be like, no way, what is that going to be like? So it was that build up into that moment and everything you did with the characters and stuff. So that had a lot more weight behind it than just reading, so and so did this in the story.
Yeah, I agree. I would be more upset if somebody's describing in extreme detail and summarizing the story and I accidentally read that. But at that point, I'm already out after the first 2 lines. So
you dug that hole.
It's not going to hurt me. So
don't tell me Bruce Willis is dead the whole time in Gears 5, right?
He finds out at the end.
Yeah, and M. Night Shyamalan's the villain in almost in every one of his movies. So I already just ruined the new movie for you. He was the villain in that one. So.
Yeah, I'm disappointed more than anything, I think is the key term, but it's You always think about that Miyamoto quote, right? Like they would release. They've been working on this campaign for years, and like Brant said, this was supposed to be a launch title, so this is way behind, and something was not right. So they decided to do these delays, and they're not idiots. They do the math. It's more than just the three of us picking up a controller to play Halo. They're looking at who does what and who spends money where, and they know that releasing that multiplayer first and releasing that multiplayer free is going to be their bread and butter. And then you just look at it like, is the whole campaign delayed, or is just campaign co-op? Like you can play the campaign.
Just co-op.
Yeah,
that
just
sucks.
co-op.
That should be delayed. No campaign until everybody can play it. Is this the hill that I would stand on, just to avoid this? Yeah, it's first world problems.
Some people only play solo.
They do.
So
many people.
So that's why you give people a choice. So you just make your choice. Yeah, it sucks,
right?
But like you said,
and the only people, I said I'm disappointed, and the only reason I am is I'm clinging to this nostalgia of having played all the campaigns with my friends, but they don't owe me that. They took out the split screen co-op in 5, and there was an uproar behind that, but they didn't owe anybody that. It was still multiplayer co-op. But hey, take your time, make it a good experience. That's all we can ask for. And the Forge mode, I've never really dabbled much with Forge, except for some of the crazy modes on 3 that we've played. I think they're created in that, but
yeah, that's where a lot of those extremely popular game types came from, was Forge.
Jump rope.
They were all born from that. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's a little disappointing.
That's all
but,
it is.
I mean, it is coming. So
at that point, you just, if it hurts you that much, I'd say just wait until you're ready to jump in the pool. There's plenty of games out there to play, but most people are going to just download and play multiplayer anyway. So
if it really hurts you that much, re-examine what causes pain to you in the world. It's probably not a good thing to be in shambles about.
You're always going to have dedicated fan bases for that, but you just got to always set your expectations.
And those people are going to dive into multiplayer, and it'll be fun to learn the mechanics of that game with multiplayer and get my ass handed to me online, and then be able to take that into the campaign and already be familiar with those controls and such. So there's some back and forth, and I'll still be playing Master Chief Collection. I've seen that consensus out there a lot too. There's so much in that package still, so there's plenty of Halo, and the next steps of plenty of Halo are going to be tiered a little bit, which we weren't expecting, but they are coming. December 8th, we got that added. Was there anything else we got? Yeah, there it is in there. 3 months after launch is campaign co-op. 6 months after launch is Forge. Xbox is hosting an event on August 20. Nope, that's where we got our details at. Yep, all right. That's all the Halo news until 30 minutes from now. Someone tell me about that 10th anniversary of the Skyrims.
I'll be more than happy to tell you, but I figured this would be more up your alley, and one of us would take the next.
Wait, why do I get the Halo and the Skyrim stories? Because I've bought every.
These are your bread and butters, man. Your love for Skyrim and your love for Halo is synonymous with gaming.
Yeah, I guess so. And this podcast. Cesar's also calling me out for having bought all the previous versions of Skyrim.
Yeah, if we don't want more versions of Skyrim, we all just have to stop buying versions of Skyrim.
I'm certain I'm in that camp with you. I don't think I've gotten more than 2 hours into Skyrim, but I've owned every version of it. VR, 360. I got it.
Brand, do you have all of them?
Not all of them, but I do have a few for sure. And I
play
it for a few hours and then fall off.
Ugh.
I think I lucked out and got that one for $29 somewhere, and I haven't seen it that cheap ever since.
It almost seems like it was out of print, right?
Maybe for that little bit. It came back somewhere. Somebody had it on sale again at some point a couple months back for like 34 or 39. I can't remember what it was.
We are, of course, talking about the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition, announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, due out November 11th. This comes from Gamatsu. Publisher Bethesda Softworks and developer Bethesda Game Studios have announced the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition for all those consoles. The unique. It's going to include Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, plus over 500 unique Creation Club elements. Users who already own the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition will be able to upgrade to Anniversary Edition for an unannounced cost to access its additional content. Users who own Elder Scrolls V, this is the Path to Victory part. We have to read this. Users who own, I'm not reading that, Skyrim. For PS4, Xbox One, and simply want to upgrade to PS5 and Series X versions of Special Edition will be able to do that free of charge. Additionally, current and future owners of Skyrim Special Edition on any platform will receive access to 3 free pieces of Creation Club content, Fishing Survival Mode, and new quests with Saints and Seducers. Okay, so answer me this. This is a giant package, right? Is this not just a next-gen upgrade? Is that included for free in the old one, or have they detailed exactly what you get with this and whether we have to pay for the... I saw the fee, but what does that give you? Does that give you the Creation Club stuff? If you don't give a shit about that, do you just get the normal upgrade for free?
The anniversary, let's see, an overview of what they have. It's their Creation Club. Anniversary Edition upgrade includes over 500 unique pieces of content from Creation Club, including quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, spells, and more. I know that they said that it covers most of the all of the anniversary stuff is in here.
Right.
I know they said, the extra things like being able to fish and all that's in there. Dragonborn, that's the add-on for Skyrim Journey off the coast of Morrowind.
Yeah, those 3, Dragonborn, Dawnguard, and Hearthfire. Those are all the 3 DLCs.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
But you can play those on PS3 and 360. That's the old add-ons. It's all about this Creation Club.
I would assume that if they are coming to things like PS5 and Series X, that they're going to have those next-gen enhancements. I mean, this comes out November 11th. Yeah. So I'm sure that there will be more trailers or things announcing the frame rates, and the DualSense features and resolutions and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like you said. I don't think they detailed what the next gen enhancements are. It just says next gen enhancements.
I'd be interested in that. I play so much with the bow in Skyrim. I would be willing to hopefully transfer my character from PS4 also, but hopefully have that DualSense, the bow tension and all that.
The adaptive trigger.
That would be really cool.
I'm sure we're gonna have to get that breakdown like we did with when Doom got the enhancements, where like all the different modes and all that. That's probably what they're waiting on to see what runs at what frame rate and what runs what ray tracing if it does have it and all that.
All the Doom stuff was free, so maybe that stuff ends up being free. Just depends on, like you said, Cesar, what the technical breakdowns of that are. And one would assume that the Anniversary Edition would just go into Game Pass, right? They would upgrade that regular one to that one, or is this your upgrade SKU from Game Pass? They haven't.
I guess
both. Yeah, they haven't really separated
some people
those.
May not have Game Pass, so some people may just have that game and that's the only game they play. Maybe, I don't know. So
you could. There's a lot in Skyrim. So expect Skyrim on 2 more consoles, 2 native versions. I'm excited to see what those look like, to see if they're going to be based off that special edition, which was already a really good remaster. And even the Switch one was a hefty port. Like, they pulled off God's work getting that thing running portable. It's very impressive. So we'll see what this turns into. The Switch version is not mentioned on the Skyrim Anniversary Edition. That's interesting.
I would imagine they would get the Creation Club and all that on there. So,
but they didn't even have mods. It was kind of a closed off version. It was a good one, but it was a very vanilla version of that special edition. All right, somebody gets the Quake story. Tell us about that Quake. Did we all play it? Also,
sure.
Did everybody play it?
I did.
I haven't downloaded it and played it yet.
Yeah, so QuakeCon happened a couple days ago. What was it, June 22nd? 3 days ago, actually. And they made that announcement that Quake was coming to was the PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. And it was the original version of Quake, and it's complete with 4K support. I would imagine the 4K support doesn't apply to the Switch version. But everything else does apply, which is the widescreen resolutions, the enhanced models, dynamic lighting, anti-aliasing, depth of field, and lots more visual enhancements. This is all from The Verge, from Tom Warren, excuse me. Basically, that's all that is. I mean, this was a surprise. I think it leaked out early that morning as like achievements started popping up that something like this was coming. They also include all the original Quake expansion packs, so you can go through all the individual chapters on there, as well as you can also get the download the Quake 64 one. Which I played that one, which looks like a fucking 64 game. I think I got like through the first chapter.
Is it only on?
It's like, is
it only on Switch, or is that on all the consoles?
I played it on PlayStation 4. You just go into add-ons and download.
Cool.
So that's it. Yeah. I think, is the Xbox Series X and S1 already out? I can't remember
I know that's what I played it on through Game Pass.
The PS5 one's coming later. I think they only have it on PS4 for backwards compatibility. Okay. I'm not sure on the Xbox side. I don't know if it's just the Xbox One version. They haven't come out with the native Series S. I don't
remember it popping up that optimized for XS logo. I don't remember that.
But I know it's coming to both. It's coming to both current gen consoles. So at some point that's coming. And I think if you purchase the older one or you download the older one, then you get it's the same thing they're doing. You get the current gen version for free.
Path to victory.
Yep, it's wonderful. I think they broke it down a little bit more in here. You can do 4-player online mode for the co-op. It's still available. You can do local split screen. You can do 8-player multiplayer matches with cross-play support. You can also do 4-player split screen local ones as well. You get this all for $10 unless you have Game Pass. It's included with your Game Pass subscription. And it's $10 on everything else. They also came out with a Quake 2. I think that one was free on GOG. I think that's the one I bought mine on. That was part of that NVIDIA project where they were doing ray tracing in 2019. And so they kind of just released it out wide for everybody to play. And that was all part of their celebration. This all goes hand in hand with the Skyrim information you were giving earlier. So
Bethesda Fest.
Yep.
Very good stuff. I had, within like the past 6 months or so, I'd been researching like what's the best version of Quake to play, because I have no nostalgia for Quake. I never played any of them, so I had been looking like which one's the right one to play. Is it PC? Is it 64? Is it the? I know it eventually came to PlayStation. What, the second one was on PlayStation? So this was very cool to come out. And the Nintendo Switch one has the gyro controls that you can move around with.
They are present in the PS4 one as well.
Really?
So yes, which wasn't that bad, because I'll talk about it in games played later. You can get around and shoot stuff with it, so it's there, and you can bypass it just using the second analog stick. So I would imagine the Xbox One maybe be similar. I don't know how they do gyro controls on Xbox.
I haven't tried it. Yeah, we'll have to kick that around in games played and see what you think. I feel like I missed a story, did I not?
No.
Among Us?
This is Among Us.
Tell us what's Among Us, young Brant.
Is it because I'm the young one? I'm the hip one. I got to go with Among Us.
Yes, because it has something to do with Fortnite. You kids have to explain the Fortnites to us.
So it was late last week. Fortnite announced a brand new game mode. And it was, what was it? Fortnite Imposters. And it was pretty much just a copy of Among Us. So this article from The Verge via Tom Warren talks about how the developers of Among Us reacted to this. And they talked about how the popularity of Among Us was very high, of course, during the pandemic. It was free on the Epic Games Store. And then recently, Epic, they didn't collaborate with Innersloth, but they just created this new mode in Fortnite. So a lot of this has to do with the takes of a lot of the different creators and things. Like this, it says, it would have been really, really cool to collab. And this was Victoria Tran of Innersloth's community director. And, like mechanics, fine, those shouldn't be gate kept. but at the very least, even different themes, terminologies make things a little
Yeah.
interesting. This is Gary Porter, a developer for Among Us. He tweeted a picture of like the maps side by side.
That's too close.
And the layouts and everything looks really similar. And he said it's okay. It's okay though. They flipped electrical and med bay, and they connected security to cafeteria. And then it was even around the development of so he later said I wasn't even around for the development of what's that skilled, which is the first map in Among Us, and I'm still offended, is what he said. So, and then later, even Innersloth's co-founder Marcus Bromander said, "I don't think that I don't think that leads to healthy."
Just about patenting the mechanics,
yeah,
like
they didn't patent the mechanics of Among Us, everything in Among Us. That doesn't lead to healthy game industry. But they could have put in a little bit more effort, put their own spin on things and things like that, rather than essentially just doing a blatant ripoff. So, I mean, I see there's a lot of these like Among Us kind of clones going around, but I think Fortnite is the biggest kind of game franchise to kind of, and latest really, to do it. So I think that's where a lot of this heat has come from, is, they could have collabed or they could have changed it a little bit more, but and you can go look at the tweets and everything for yourself, like the map, and it's really, really close.
I mean, Epic, they, with the Fortnite crew specifically, they've kind of aped games from the beginning. They took that Fortnite building thing and took mechanics from PUBG and built that into their own Royale thing. Who else did they took?
But I mean,
there was some other popular mechanic in between these two that they aped something off of, and
well, I mean, they Epic collabs with everybody all the time. I mean, Master Chief's in there.
Kratos.
They're getting out Aloy. Kratos is in there. I mean, they've Marvel, Star Wars. I mean, they've got so many different franchises and characters and things that they've brought into this universe and collabed with so many different companies to get these things in there, that, I mean, it would have been cool if they reached out to Innersloth and
just make it official.
So, yeah.
It could have been done.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what they get bad news for. So, I mean, is anybody really surprised? So,
not me. It's just, especially with a studio like they're a small group, the Innersloth, and Among Us really took off over the past 18 months or so, and it was just like
when I was just going to say, when it had been around actually for a heck of a lot longer.
Right, like 2 years before that or something, right? And they were planning on doing a sequel, and then pandemic had people shut in, and they started, it was a good way to connect and play multiplayer and things like that. I still haven't played it yet. Brent, didn't it take over your household for a little while?
Yeah, it's a fun little party game.
It seems like it'd be a good one. All right, boo on Epic. Maybe they'll rectify that. They don't give a shit.
they would be more likely to just buy Innersloth.
And that's one way of looking at it. Just throw money at them. If you can't beat them, make them join you.
Yeah.
All right, here's a hefty news bit. This is all the Gamescom stuff from opening night live, which was the Keighley show. This is accumulated gracefully for us by Adam Bankhurst at IGN. I usually don't source from IGN, but this seems like a pretty good one. Brent, you picked a great one.
Yeah, they usually do a good summary of these shows. Yeah. I've noticed their articles as far as summarizing events, cons, big shows, and everything. They do the best and cleanest rundown of everything.
Here's everything announced at so-and-so. We got another look at Halo Infinite, and it was the multiplayer that we got a look at. I said the same thing again. That's when we also got the date for December 8th, 2021. The release date was revealed alongside a multiplayer trailer focused on Commander Lorette Agrina, who will be one of the main characters featured in the first season of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. The bigger Halo-centric news that we got is to celebrate the 20th anniversary, a special Halo Infinite Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2 will be released. And we're also...
That shit looks good.
I've never been tempted to buy the Elite controller, but that is actually a pretty decent looking... it's not Forerunner-y like the next thing we're going to talk about. It looks like it's got the muted greens of Master Chief's armor and such. It does look pretty sharp. And the orange, the clicky D-pad thing that they have on those is like his visor color. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. The thing I was alluding to is, of course, a Halo version of the Series X console, which apparently I had to look at what exactly I was looking at, but apparently
it does not look good.
I don't like it at all. It's horrible, and I love Halo stuff, and it just looks bad, good. And the controller looks bad. I don't like it. It's very Forerunner-ish. Apparently, it is Chief's helmet, the top of it, and he's looking out at the night sky of Zeta Halo, which is where the game's gonna take place. So there's.
It's what you always what you want to see versus playing a video game. You just want to see Master Chief looking up at the sky.
That's what I was going for in a console. Well, you have so much real estate as the console is like vertical. They have to go. But unless you're like me and you lay it sideways, and then it's just Master Chief laying on a pillow looking at the sky.
They had such a chance to make this the Xbox Series SX, or well, I guess they only said this is going to be the X, but Craig edition.
Yeah,
they could have made a Craig edition.
I would have got some laughs.
Yeah, they were concerned about anybody bringing their significant other home, and like, what the fuck's that black box is standing straight up? It's like, we give them this, they can explain to us, it's Master Chief looking at the night sky. Yeah. Like, it's not any worse than that.
That's bad. It just does. The stars look fine. Like, if it wasn't so angular at the bottom with the stars look okay. But maybe just do the halo. You have this giant box. Do the halo like all the way through. That would have been cool. It's on all the other marketing. Look at it, even on the news article. Look in the background. It's there. You could have done that. I don't know. It's not for me. I will not be tempted to get one of these. And they're $549.
Somebody will buy it.
Does it come with... Well, everybody's buying it. They went up today and people are going crazy. Does it come with anything extra for that $549, or is it just the special edition?
I don't think so.
Controller, console. I mean, you can barely get a Series X as it is, so I don't think people give a fuck. They'll pay $50 more versus paying $500 more. So
I'm more interested to see what this box looks like. I think I'm interested in the box. So if somebody gets it and they're going to throw away their box, let me know.
I mean, it's going to have Master Chief all over it like our box.
It probably will look very, very similar to our box. He'll be on the back of it, and then the front will just have this same image we're looking at here on the...
Actually, on the back of it, you'll just have images of co-op and Forge modes.
Coming soon.
Yeah, complete the circle.
Coming soon, next year. Yeah, the back of the Xbox Series boxes always have to show whatever game's coming out next year, like not something you can currently play. Maybe that's what they're going for. We're getting a Saints Row reboot. A brand new Saints Row will be released February 25th, 2022, so that's not very far off. For PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC, the first trailer gives fans a look at the new city of Santa Ileso, which appears to take inspiration from the American Southwest. There are 3 main gangs in this new reboot, and the opening night live show also shared the first glimpse of gameplay footage. I think more Saints Row is always a good thing. I'm not anti Saints Row. Had a lot of fun with the third one, multiplayer online. That was a good time. Marvel's Midnight Suns, Firaxis' first Marvel XCOM game, officially announced. This actually looks cool, kind of cool. Reminds me of the old, it wasn't X-Men Legends, but it was it Marvel Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Alliance? But this is very XCOM centric of those. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a new strategy game. It looks to be a super-powered version of the studio's XCOM franchise. While the game will feature customizable superheroes, it will also feature iconic Marvel characters like Iron Man, Wolverine, Captain America, Captain Marvel, and more. The game is set to be released in March 2022, and the first gameplay will be revealed September 1st, 2021. So very close to gameplay reveal. I will let someone else pick up from the next news story regarding Horizon.
Yeah. So Horizon Forbidden West was confirmed to have their release date changed to 2022, delayed out of 2021, as the rumors were stating. This will release both on PS5 and PS4 February 18, 2022. I think that was the original month it was released on in the first game, if I was not mistaken. Like towards the end of that month, I believe.
It's either close or it's right on, yeah.
We got extended look at Call of Duty Vanguard campaign, which was revealed, and Polina, which is one of its main characters. The oft-delayed Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga has finally got a release window, not a release date.
Just a window.
It's been pushed back since spring of 2021, and it's into 2022. I mean, we can't give it any shit because the pandemic kind of changed everything, so we don't know how that was.
This
affected.
one covers all the movies, right?
Complete saga, all 9 movies, yeah. Then we got I think 9 minutes of footage for Death Stranding's director's cut, and this shows off the new items, features, and missions, including a jetpack,
Of course.
Which will release September 24th. They just kind of went into all the new features that are in this director's cut that's not supposed to be called a director's cut. Far Cry 6 gets a new story trailer. There's not a description under here, so I don't know what was done in the new story trailer. I just know I purchased the mispriced one for $59.99, which is the gold edition that comes with the season pass, and I will play when that comes out.
Someone fucked up.
Yep.
As Richard had alluded earlier today in the text chat to all of us, Horizon Zero Dawn got a 60 frames per second update for PS5. I've tried to remember, and Richard, you may be able to recall what was in there. I know it was the 60 frames per second. They kind of tweaked some of the game modes on there. I don't think they have that lower one. I think that everything's a higher visibility mode.
They took out the combined game mode. Here, I got the clip here. The update is update 1.53. Unlock frame rate to 60 frames per second when running on PS5 in backwards compatibility mode. Fix streaming performance issues when running on PS5. And the one you were referring to, removed graphics mode option from the visual settings when running on a PS5 console in backwards compatibility mode.
Seems like it just runs at whatever that detail setting it needs running or whatever it's doing there.
I kind of like I like having options, but it's almost like they know if you have a PS5, like here's how you need to play this game.
We also got a capital JETT. Jet, The Far Shore, PS4, PS5, and PC release date, which was announced, which is October 5th, 2021. I think this is what one of the ones that Shuhei was working on his Indies label. So I'm assuming this will come first on PlayStation and then eventually fall to other platforms later. We got more footage of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. We show that April O'Neil is a playable character.
This still looks so good. I'm hoping for a physical copy.
I want this so bad right now.
This, I think, that we got the confirmation that this fell into 2022 after this announcement. I think they mentioned that, and it was confirmed outside of that as well. I think so far this has been announced for PC and Switch. Amazon's New World Open Beta announced, post-launch plans teased. I think there's MMO New World will go into open beta September 9th through the 12th. Ahead of its September 28th release date. So this will be the first game from Amazon Studios, I'm assuming.
I know nothing about this one. Have y'all seen any clips or anything?
No, I have no idea. I think at this point, most people just wrote off most of Amazon Studio games because they seem to just fall into the ether. Yeah. So no offense to them, but it seems like good on them to finally get something out. Riders Republic public beta now open to everyone. This is a Ubisoft game, which they announced, I think, what was it, last year? Last E3? Wasn't this one. The game's beta is coming out this month on 3 days, the 28th. Got some more details on Sifu. They got a release date for February for PC and consoles.
Still looks good, and I'm kind of hoping we get it as like a PlayStation Plus game. It seems like it would be one of those good headlining ones. Yeah.
This one's I think a very heavily PlayStation invested one. I mean, this is a shooting one, so it's probably, I would imagine it's a good bet. I would imagine Jet might. I would have said Jet would have been a good bet for that too, but then they already had the pre-orders for Jet on the store, and you get a discount with Plus, so it doesn't seem like this would be a free game, or not a free game, but a PlayStation Plus game. Let me reiterate. Devolver Digital's Call of the Lamb was revealed. I did not watch this video, so I can't describe what it is in any of y'all.
I don't know what that one is either.
No description on this, so if you want it, I would look for on IGN's page or on YouTube to find out what it's about.
And if you like Devolver games, it's probably going to be up your alley.
Yep. Splitgate Season 0 announced, and it's out now.
I downloaded
That's
this. But I haven't played it yet. It's supposed to be like Halo and Portal combined.
So what is this on? It's on everything, or there's literally no information.
I downloaded it on Xbox, but I think it's everything. I think it's PS4, Xbox, and PC.
All right.
PS4, PlayStation.
You're the expert, so you download it.
I'm the expert on the Splitgates.
You did more in Splitgate than any of us
I
have
done.
It. I can't speak for Brant, so maybe that's accurate or not.
It's all Richard.
So we got some more details on Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. They announced that Morgana is going to be a playable character on some post launch DLC. So I'm assuming that there'll be more characters coming into the fray. Is my assumption. So I guess they're
they've
franchise. So
they keep announcing more and more characters. I don't think we've talked about any of them.
Who else?
But I know Sonic and Tails,
Azuma,
Kiryu. Yeah.
From Yakuza.
Beat from Jet Set.
That's right.
Is in there.
Yep.
I'm holding out for Toe Jam and Earl.
Most of them, all of them are in the game unlockable. So it's not like paid DLC. It's just you unlock them through playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for this one. It's $40. Are y'all too?
I know. It's
Morgana is the first one that is post DLC, and then Morgana does cost money. It's $5.
We're almost there, folks.
Yeah, I had to reload the page here. I had to go back and get the details. Jurassic World Evolution 2 release date's been revealed. That's November 9th, 2021. That heavy, the day after Halo. I don't know what people will do after that.
Halo's December.
Month before, excuse me. Doke V, the creature-catching MMO from the Black Desert Online team, looks like a shiny, colorful dream. It's their words.
Looks like a shiny, colorful dream.
Didn't watch any of this, so I'm not sure what it refers to. All it says on here is that has players befriending strange creatures called Dokkaebi that gain power from the dreams of people. Sounds like a wild ride. Park management game with impossible roller coasters. So Park Beyond is a
sounds
new
like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Namco and Limbic Entertainment that features a concept called impossification that makes park rides into creations that defy the laws of engineering and physics. Valheim's Hearth and Home update releases this September. Valheim's Hearth and Home update will become available September 16th and is focused on improving the game's core base building and survival mechanics. And Valheim is like a freaking beast. It sold so many copies when it first came out, and there's a lot of people that still playing it on Steam. Deadmau5 is making a music experience inside another game platform. Hostley is a virtual world and music experience created inside the game creation platform Core. I don't know what Core is. I don't know what it pertains to, so I cannot speak to this. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt Toretto Claim gameplay trailer revealed. And you'll probably have to go online and look for that. I can't describe it. I haven't seen it.
Is that the remaster or is that the new Vampire the Masquerade?
This should be the new one, I imagine.
Okay.
I don't know. There's also visual novel versions of Vampire the Masquerade out there, so there's multiple SKUs bouncing around with that name. So, which obviously this is not it, but I don't know off memory. UFL is a new soccer game looking to take on FIFA's dominance. That was a free-to-play soccer game coming to all consoles to take on both FIFA and eFootball. eFootball being Konami's old, what was that license they had for their football game?
That was right on the tip of my tongue.
Like PES.
Pro Evolution Soccer, PES.
Yeah. The terrifying Outlast Trials gameplay revealed. This is a new one in the Outlast game. The Outlast Trials is a survival horror game set during the Cold War that will not only scare you, but will also let you bring along a friend to be scared as well.
Have y'all played any of those Outlast games?
I own some copies of it. I've seen people play it online. It's that whole first-person view on there. A lot of the gameplay in the second one is very yabe. Stop. It's like penises hanging around. You got monsters chasing you. It's somebody's getting
castrated,
taken advantage of, and in the desert. I'm trying to find a better word than taking advantage of.
That works.
So I would describe it as yabe. Next up. So yeah, it's all psychological horror, and it's usually in that whole vein of you hiding and running, and you're not a combative person, and when you do have to kill somebody, it's in a room that's filled with puzzle-based decisions where you have to initiate a trap to kill said person that you're supposed to kill in that time. That seems to be the way the game is. Mostly jump scares and fear of trying to get stuff done in the time limit. There you go. I described it.
That's perfect. I have the perfect understanding of this game now. I had nothing going in. I just knew it was horror.
I'm pretty sure all of us have it at some point. I think it was a PlayStation Plus game at some point, maybe in the PS4 era, given into like year 2 or 3 of it. So at some point, I think we all have like Outlast 2. I'm fairly certain of it. Probably don't have the DLC though. Synced Off Planet gets a new story trailer. Synced Off Planet is a new PvPvE shooter that combines survival elements, crafting, base building, and more. Gameplay also features up to 50 players and 1,000 corrupted human cyborgs called nanos. I haven't heard anything about this at all, but it seems to be taking everything that's popular in gaming right now. So crafting, base building, and more, and all that.
PvPvE is a big thing right now, like the Left 4 Dead type stuff coming back.
And then finally, Century Age of Ashes is a free-to-play multiplayer game filled with dragons. That's the only context I have on this. I apologize, everyone. I didn't watch a majority or any of these videos, so I can't describe in great detail what these are about. So
we got there.
It's literally just me reading you a bedtime story. Oh yeah, Sumi.
We got there.
And
that's Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, that was as of recording this tonight's Gamescom news, because yesterday
there's still more happening. It says developing on the bottom. So
yeah, there's more happening. Yesterday was Microsoft show, and they showed off like what was it?
Not Halo.
Forza Horizon trailers and more stuff for Psychonauts, and there's a new controller, Forza Horizon.
That one actually looks pretty good.
Controller.
It's got like see-through plastic.
Yeah,
please bring back this.
Yeah, it's got the clear plastic.
Is it gonna be the cost of a console again? We're doing this again.
Yeah, I remember. I heard it's kind of pricey, but I mean, honestly, they've got to step up their game and make the custom controllers a little bit nicer and different, because since they brought back the
design lab,
the creation lab, design lab. I mean, if they make it something semi-generic, people can just go into the lab and, make something similar or make it the exact same.
I've seen a lot of good ones. Like I've seen Super Nintendo colored ones and things like that that just look really sharp. People better design ideas than me.
That goes to show. Yeah, that goes to show that, I mean, that lab works well if you can unleash people's creativity to do stuff like that instead of limiting it. Yeah. So, a lot of people do it and they make what they want on there. So even that one from Jason from Giant Bomb, I think he posted on there with like killer clowns all over his. I was trying to figure out how the hell did he get something that could be potentially copyrighted on there, like a JPEG image on there. But I guess they'll let you do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not going to let Brand go on there and put like a One Piece controller and be like, oh, ship it to me. And like, I don't think that's going to fly. So,
It's a pretty cool service. Would y'all like to see like Nintendo and Sony offer that as a custom? Maybe have graphics from games that you could throw in there if it's not just a color scheme thing, but just put an overlay or something in there.
Be cool.
Has Sony ever done? Well, the PS3 they kind of branched out a little bit. They had like the SOCOM ones, and you remember the MLB The Show one that was white with the red baseball stitches on it. That one looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, let's be honest. I mean, the original PS3 and then the PS4s have detachable tops. I mean, they never did anything with those. So outside of just getting the fan on it, I mean, when they could have done something like faceplates like they did for the 360. So
I bought a couple of those faceplates. I like that concept. I thought it was neat. Yeah. All right, we're ready to get a games played.
Let's do it.
Let's kick off with Quake. Mine's gonna be brief because I played the first 3 episodes or the first 3 levels of the first episode. They go by episodes, right? And how it breaks down.
Did you get to the first boss?
I played the first 3 levels of that.
You literally, the next level would have been the boss for that chapter, and you would have moved. You would have completed that chapter.
Okay. I might try to knock that out because the levels are only like 2 or 3 minutes a piece. I guess starting off, they're not lengthy.
I don't want to take from you, but yeah, this is like same developer from Doom,
Yeah.
and this is kind of like it's a lot more slower pace compared to Doom,
Yes.
where Doom they expect you to move quickly. This one kind of like you can take your time, Persona 5 style.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it feels like a successor to Doom. It doesn't feel like rocket science above Doom. It's a very, you can see, it's not pixels shifting, like the enemies are not pixels as they move around and scale and such. They're actually 3D characters. But I guess it's like there's no story, there's no lore. And this is a product of its era. I'm not knocking. Plenty of people are going to have nostalgia for this game. I just never played it when it was new. This is my first experience.
Story was on the back of the box.
That too.
Yeah, there was a booklet for the game. The story was in that booklet. That's what it was. It was that era, like the the OG. Well, this one was an early PC game.
Yeah.
So this was there was a book for it. I don't know how it would have looked on if you had a complete set of Quake 64 or not. So
I think I just have the game. I think I have Quake 2. I don't know which ones physically, but I don't think I have the boxes for those. But I mean, it was good. It was one of those. It was a more fleshed out, more modern version of Doom to me. But I don't know how much I'll go back to spend in it. It was fun that it's on Game Pass, and it was like 200 megs or something crazy, maybe 800 megs. It was just like a real quick download just to drop into it and try it out. I do want to try out the co-op because that's always my draw with a bunch of games, and I would love to play some of that co-op, especially with somebody who can appreciate Quake like it seems like you have, Cesar.
yeah, that's gonna be that was the appeal to Quake back in the day when I first got a PC and I upgraded the graphics card. I think I was in like 9th grade. Quake and Quake 2 was one of those games I played a lot on there.
How quickly did those come out in succession? Like, were they a quick turnabout for that second one?
They're fairly quick. Yeah. I mean, within a year's time. I mean, ID was known to kind of make slight improvements to their engine and kind of change up the story and go on there. Right. I mean, Romero just did with the final part for Doom. When they stuck it in the original Doom not too long ago when they released those out there. So for the final campaign,
that was always a cool touch. So. Yeah, letting them go back and do those type things.
So, I mean, they were always pretty open about that. I mean, before then, they're doing Commander Keen. ID was like doing a very big in the PC world. I mean, they would branch out here with Doom on Super Nintendo here and there with the red cartridge. Yep. And
my first person shooter ever is Wolfenstein 3D. Me and Russell would play it together. One of us ran the keyboard and the other one ran the mouse.
And then you get yelled at in German as you kill somebody, right?
I actually recently played the Super Nintendo version via emulation, where they stripped out it's Castle Wolfenstein. It's a World War II game, and the PC port has Hitler on the wall, and a lot of the walls are secret, so you can go to a painting and hit the secret in the wall, move back. So it's Hitler, but without the mustache. They turn the dogs into rats. They don't yell German stuff at you. It's just like, hey, stop. It's so different. I had to see what it looked like. It is so drastically different.
Yeah. I mean, that was a product of its time, so a lot of people felt games were aimed at young children, so a lot of that stuff was heavily.
Yeah, I want to try that. I want to try that co-op and see how that is.
But we don't get too off the deep end here. So I mean, Quake's been known for the co-op. I mean, I played a lot of Quake 3 back in college. That's a lot of fun. You can't get up to those levels on here because I think on Quake 3 it was like 32 people or 64 people gonna be in a room, and it was like if you did rockets only, it was crazy because like if you did on like a flat area and there was a cube and there's nothing but space, so if you fall off, you died instantly. And then it was just as soon as you drop in the room, it's just rockets sailing past you. It's like. And it's just like you just trying to just dodge and survive and just shoot off a rocket to kill somebody before it kills you. And it's like there's times I just spawn in and I'm dying, just exploding in pieces and just waiting to reload the lab. So to reload in the level, it's a lot.
I've always wanted to experience that because I know that Halo borrowed a lot from Quake as far as multiplayer goes, and I'd like to experience that too. Was that a time and place thing, or do you think the PS3? Do you think this remaster of Quake 3 will add to the player base for that?
I mean, if we ever get a remastered Quake 3, who knows? So, I mean, I think the closest we got
these two are ports.
Well, this one, like the Quake 1, is just a port done by Night Dive. So,
speaking of which,
and then
great job for them. They've kind of carved out this niche of these old PC games. Great job for them.
Yeah, like you said, they've had their hands in Turok. They've working on the Blade Runner one right now. So I mean, and the System Shock, they're trying to get System Shock 2 out there. Seems like they announce a lot. It does take them a while to get out there, but they're getting it done. They're not like some other companies where announce a whole bunch of stuff and just kind of just projects everywhere, but you're not sure which one to prioritize. But yeah, it's like you said. I mean, for me on my version, I think you played the Xbox one. You'll probably go back and check yours. I think the gyro sensor was available on mine. That flowed fine. I could technically just run around with the left analog stick and use my controller and tilt it up and down and aim for it, and it felt pretty smooth. It wasn't too fast. It wasn't too slow. It seemed like it was geared pretty well. I didn't do it, of course, because that's not my thing. But the option's there, and it's great for people who that option.
Yep.
It does smooth. I haven't had any hiccups with it. So as you
it ran butter smooth. Mm.
Yeah, very very well. It's like I said, it's a very fun game because, like I said, this one's not like the whole. There's some demonic stuff in there where Doom pulled a lot of that on there, and there's some like religious imagery in there as well. But a lot of this took place in it's similar to like Doom, where it takes place in space on another planet, and it's more of a fantasy one versus the sci-fi-esque. If you go based off the story, so story's completely in book. I'm telling you now, you have to go online and look at the story. There's a story in there, but
I'll check it out just to have some context to it. Yeah. I mean, how much did you need in Doom or Wolfenstein? You got captured by the Nazis. Get out.
It's probably like literally 2 pages, like you said. It's probably very premise to set up like, okay, this is what happened to you. This is what you need to do, and here's your final boss type of situation.
While we're talking about Night Dive too, we didn't put this in news, but they've announced a port of Power Slave is coming to, I believe it was all consoles and PC too, which some regions got as Exhumed, but it's like Quake or Doom. It's a first-person shooter of that ilk, with a ancient Egyptian theme to it. And I've always been curious about it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've always been curious about it, but it's so expensive on both PlayStation and Saturn. And this one's going to combine the best versions of both the PlayStation and the Saturn ones, those builds. So that looks pretty good. Some news in our games played.
I'm sure they'll get embraced by a company later, sooner or later.
They're going to get embraced.
I mean, that company that embraced 3D Realms and
that's right. We didn't put that news either at some point.
I think we mentioned it before. I think you might have mentioned it before, or Brand might have mentioned it before. I think it was in there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
They were known to make those type of games, so as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. So
let them go. Like I said, they've carved out this niche, and just keep these rolling. Make these more available on current platforms. Because you look down this list, like Blade Runner, like you were saying, System Shock 2. They worked on the Doom 64 port last year. Shadow Man remastered. Forsaken was one of their big ones. They did both the Turoks, so they're bringing
pretty much every N64 game.
Yeah. That's it. They're N64 port masters.
Yeah.
I'll finish up games played. I did a little bit more on Halo. That's just been kind of lunchtime, lunch break sort of deal. A good story about an online experience. I had someone a couple weeks back, and it was on a Saturday night session, and they just handed me my ass. And I was literally screaming at them at the TV. And I won't use their gamer tag, but they were killing me so bad. I was just like, damn, these people. We got beat, and I was so glad we got out of that game because that person just had my number. And then I see the thing at the bottom pops, message from, it was from this person. I'm like, oh my God, sure, I got to face the music. We got beat. Yeah. He handled me. It is what it is. Let's go ahead. And they said, good game. I'm like, okay, there we go. I said, you were really good. Enjoyed it. Let's play again. And they said, no, I just got lucky. And they added me as a friend. And that's probably been 3 or 4 weeks. And they hit me up. It was a couple days ago, just for the same type games that we play, the action sack, where it's just, crazy stuff. And like Fiesta, where the weapons rotate, or cannon fodder, where you start off with a fuel rod cannon and try to defend areas. And they added me. And we were on the same team. They didn't have a headset. I say he because I see the avatar. But they added me, and we played like 3 rounds together. And it was just, hey, this is somebody I met that plays Halo, and it worked. It worked out. It doesn't happen very often. But for all the bad stories that you hear and things like that, I do want to throw out, that was a good experience from somebody in the community. Because I used to get your trash messages, and now I get reported for cheating, and I'm not that good, but I get under people's skin, I guess. And
please sell your console bullshit. Please sell your console.
Yeah.
Quit gaming.
So I'm playing right next to Dale. Right, Dale's right next to me, and we get our asses handed to us this round. And I get a message. He gets a message. I'm like, oh God, what is this? It's from the same person. And mine said, donate your Xbox, and it says throw away your Xbox. Oh, but you can't help but laugh. Donate your Xbox.
Yeah. Don't even sell it. Just give it to somebody who can do better than you.
Give it to someone who's more competent than you are. The last game I want to finish with, this was kind of a list of shame, or a game of shame off the list, and I've been threatening to play this for a couple weeks now. I started Dead Space on the Xbox Series X. It's like auto HDR enabled through the EA Play integration with Game Pass. I have a hard copy, but it's right there, and it's like 7 gigs. And as soon as I got into this, I couldn't put it down, and I went all the way through the first chapter, like immediately. And it just... I've been craving Resident Evil 4. I've been craving Gears of War, and it just has this, like, it's so perfectly designed in gameplay, in atmosphere, in story, I love how the little bits are... This goes back to, like, Medal of Honor or something, where you could get bits of lore that are stuck, like, behind chairs and things like that, where you find a notepad, or this one is good about audio logs. And they're not just randomized. Like, a lot of the audio logs, the story carries along. So, like, as I'm following in the footsteps of these engineers that came before me, because you're on the ship and you have no clue what happened, these audio logs are kind of telling the story of the mayhem that's breaking loose. And it just, the pacing is wonderful. The way it wraps you around, and your character Isaac gets separated from the very beginning. Okay, I guess I should back up. You're on a ship that is answering a call to a ship that has been,
Was it Ishimura?
Ishimura is the ship you're headed to. And they put out a distress call, I believe, and you kind of crash land on it. Do what?
You're an engineer. You're an engineer.
Yeah,
remember?
Isaac's an engineer.
They don't give you a name. You're like, you're an engineer. Come on here, engineer. That's all they kept referring you as before they give you a name.
And there's only 3 people on the ship. I'm looking around like, who are you confusing me with?
Who brought you here to fix the ship?
I
was like, damn. I was like, oh my God.
He's a silent protagonist so far, except for like some of the grunts and things like that through the face mask. But you crash land. The pacing's very good. The intro is very similar to, I would say, BioShock, where you're immediately immersed in this universe. You don't have any... It's not like Skyward Sword where you're trying to catch cats and shit, and it's not really getting you into the swing of things. The weapon you get, the iconic like plasma cutter, it's an engineering tool, and they integrate that into the story and into the gameplay, and it's just so satisfying because the game will direct you to... Almost like Resident Evil 4 did, where you could shoot somebody in the knee and it would drop them down, or they would come with you with a pitchfork, and if you hit their hand, that would affect them, or you could shoot it out of the air. But they start off with some basic enemies that you want to take the legs out of, and then they start ending up... I had these things with like 3 tentacles, and you had to knock out the 3 tentacles on it before you could stomp it. And a friend of the show, Renee's in the chat. He says, play the second, it's even better. Watch the movie, it takes place before the first. Should I have watched the movie first, Renee?
Yeah, don't worry, and then you'll play the third one, and then you'll have a bad taste.
I'm playing the third one with somebody because I know it's co-op. But it's just, man, the way it's almost like Metroid.
I call it Army of Two.
Army of Two space.
Yeah.
Isaac's Army of Two.
I'm sorry, Richard. Yeah, continue.
No, but just the way the level, because your ship crash lands on the Ishimura, and you're going to like turn on lights or something. I don't know. It's the first thing, and you immediately get separated from the other 2 people, and they're like, "Hey, we're here. You go down. Well, we're in the control room. We're turning on these," and the way they like shift the doors opening, and there's Renee says it's an anime movie. He said it's even better. I'll have to check it out, Renee. But the way the gameplay segments are broken up and the pacing is so good. And here's my favorite thing. This needs to be in every game because I get lost in every game. I get lost in Wolfenstein 3D. You click the right stick and Isaac like puts this thing on the floor and it tells you where to go. And I love that because I get lost everywhere. So I'm clicking that right stick and like, yep, that's where I got to go, the machine room. And it just, man, the jump scares are good. I had to stop after that first chapter. I started the second chapter. It was late at night, and I was down here by myself with headphones on, and I tapped out, and I was like, nope, I need something light. I just need to step back and do something different for a minute, because I was playing with headphones, and it was super immersive, and I know why people are clamoring for a new one. Just like that appreciation I got for Mass Effect when I beat that first Mass Effect. It's like, I get it. I know why people want more Dead Space and why they want to return to this universe, because it's just, and there's no HUD. Your ammo is on your weapons, which it's not quite Resident Evil of Dead Space yet, so I'm not running out of a lot of ammo. And your health is like up your spine on the back, so when you start taking damage, it drops down.
Sir, I don't want to give your hopes up, but wait till you get closer to the end. It's gonna become you're gonna be like wishing, like, why did I waste this ammo?
Oh no!
Get used to the fact
it becomes that game.
Oh.
Get used to the beginning of this game where you shoot somebody down, and instead of finishing them off with ammo, you stomp on them.
I'm doing that.
Just
a
make
lot.
sure you get into that habit. They'll save you a lot of bullets.
I'm doing that a lot, and when I get extra ammo, I start throwing stuff in the safe. Like, there's a safe that you can do. There's a shop where you can upgrade your suit. You can upgrade the weapons with like these power core things at a bench. So it has crafting, but it's almost like that original or the Tomb Raider reboot where I don't like crafting in games. I don't want to have to try to figure that stuff out. But it's almost like that first Tomb Raider where you're adding pieces to the weapon. So like when you get one of these, you can decide if you want your plasma cutter to have more damage or have faster reload, that kind of stuff. And I haven't really. So I had one. There was one scare that got me, and I wasn't able to focus, and I died. But that's really the only time I died. There's a part in, I think it's chapter 3. You're going down a hallway. It comes out of nowhere. This tentacle like grabs Isaac and slams him on the ground, and then pulls you through the hallway. And every time the tentacle yanks on you, it resets where you're trying to aim your plasma cutter. And it was just so tense, and I loved it, man. The game is so good. It's so full of atmosphere. It's really incredible.
It's good game design. It's good, and it was fresh, and it was different,
design.
Especially from that time. All you got was Resident Evil, tank controls, puzzle solving, and that one to kind of change the direction, and then go with all cheap scares on there. So I mean, there's some there. I mean, but
and some of them are earned. Like, you'll go down a new hallway and something runs across in front of you, and instead of coming after you, it like climbs into this grate to your right and just goes off somewhere. I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess that guy's coming back at some point. There's some disturbing stuff. I watched a character slit their throat with a saw. I don't know something's happening to all these people. They're being overtaken by something. And I'm sure I'm going to find out at some point. But it's just, damn, it's really good. But I can't take a whole lot of it in one sitting. It starts to weigh on me, and the tense, like I get tense, almost like the end of a PUBG round where I'm just on edge, and it's like, I can't do this. My heart's pounding. If I was streaming more regularly and did one of those heart monitors or something like that, this would be an interesting one to do. Have you played all 3 of these, Brand, or did you just do the first one? Or
I remember playing the first one. I don't think I ever wound up getting through the second one.
Oh, did you finish the first one? You said it gets to be that game.
It gets hard, but it's so good. And I remember even recommending it to somebody that I knew in high school, and it was hilarious because he was
came out when you were in high school.
Like, yeah.
Thanks, Brant. Appreciate it.
But it was like early in high school.
Thanks, Brant. So, appreciate it.
I mean,
you could have said it was like senior year and you failed 12th grade twice. You could have gone that far.
Don't feel bad, because I think when I did it, I was working in Best Buy, and I was like 20.
This game's old.
Yeah,
I think it's 13 years old at this point, and I'm just now getting around. I've started it before, but never made it probably past the first chapter.
It's good, man. It's really good, and you'll enjoy it. The second one carries a lot of in there. It's a lot of fun. You get the second one goes into like kind of like Jack and Daxter, where you just start speaking like Jack.
Oh,
I'm mad as hell, and Isaac starts talking, shit like that. So I was like, they give him, character and depth, and pull him in there and get some backstories, and don't get Renee started on whatever girl that likes Isaac, and he always goes off about that.
I'm watching him. He said, beat the game first before watching the movie. Thanks, Renee. I'm getting all the lore straight. But it's good, man. And on Series X, through that backwards compatibility and whatever magic they're working with that auto HDR, the lighting, like the contrast of his suit and the glow from his helmet and the shots from that plasma cutter and the darkness and all that stuff, it's just, God, it's so good. Ellie. Renee says her name's Ellie. Don't get you started, Renee.
Don't get Renee started, Ellie. He gets in arguments about relationship status with Ellie, and I'm like,
we can't have this on our show, Renee. We don't have time for this.
you know what, Renee? Wait until Richard beats it, and then you can have a discussion with Ellie on there. I don't care either way, but apparently people feel certain type of way about Ellie. So,
but those are my games played. I'm raving about Dead Space. I love every minute of it so far. It's been wonderful. Those are my games played.
Yeah. So for me, easy. Already talked about Quake. Went over that. I did finish Skyward Sword. That one's done. I beat that one.
How was the ending?
It was pretty good. I mean, it just goes into the whole thing of that whole universe with everything's 3 based. Yeah. So I mean, I can't go into details of how the story ended, but I mean, the final boss battles was not hard, and it was easy for me to figure out how to beat the final boss in there. I mean, there was a trick on there. If you don't know the trick, it's going to be you doing like, what am I doing wrong? But I've kind of figured it out because he shows you the trick, and you're like, oh, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. All right. So
did you see Fabio Gannon?
No, he was not in there. I'm not sure where Fabio Gannon came from.
We still don't know. We still don't know.
Yeah. This dude does. I mean, the boss in here is. I got to figure out where that game came from. I don't know, because I've beaten Skyward Sword, I've beaten Twilight Princess, I've beaten Wind Waker.
We have no clue where Fabio Gannon comes from.
My gosh!
At this point, I've beaten every 3D Zelda game. I've got all those off my list. The only one I have not beaten is Zelda 2 on the 2D side, and any of the Four Swords bullshit. I
would love to play Four Swords with all of us.
But like I said, the story does set up where it sets up how it sets up how we go into this whole endless loop thing. It addresses all that, and I'll leave it at that. I mean,
yeah.
The designs toward the end of the game, the dungeon designs, is very enjoyable. There is a area in there where you have to get the Triforces, and the map section on there is built like the original Legend of Zelda map section, where where you get up there and it's over the top. Yeah. And so for you to complete that dungeon, you have to set the map, and it looks just like that, and you have to connect areas and like that. So it was a cool little throwback in there to that. Cool. It seems like whenever you go through the dungeons, you are required to use everything you've found so far in the game, and it didn't feel like it was a hindrance. So you used up all these items. It wasn't like you switching items in the last second and some bullshit happens and it kills you. It felt like it was cleverly done and was there for a reason. Didn't have too many issues with the motion controls as I got through the game and got used to it and got accustomed to it. It was fine, outside of just resetting it every so often. But I got into the habit of just doing that automatically without even thinking.
That's what I was doing.
And like I said, the boss battles are not too difficult.
Where does it rank? Where does it rank on your Zelda games?
It's good. The story's good. Nothing tops Wind Waker for me.
Right.
It's definitely above Twilight Princess, because I just felt like Twilight Princess was just too long. There was just too many dungeons, and it was just too cumbersome for me. Even though I think I enjoyed the Twilight Princess story more, because I definitely like Medina as a character, when it got towards the end of that game.
Funky cold Medina.
A lot more. Yep. I don't know. The story in this one's good too. I don't know. I would be in the middle somewhere, probably. It's not definitely the bottom part. I don't know, man. It's hard. If you ask me, like, what's your worst Zelda, it's probably hard for me to sit there and go through what's my worst Zelda.
None of them are bad games.
Breath of the Wild probably close to the bottom for me, but I just don't like that type of gameplay for Breath of the Wild. So, but that's just me.
There's a lot of people like that. So you're not alone.
Yeah. Outside of that, after I completed that, I've been bouncing around because I've been playing some Psychonauts.
The first one or the new one?
The first one, because I've never gone through any of them in the VR one, and I know some people were on Twitter had this whole conversation. It's like, hey, can I just play the second one and and just start out from there? And somebody said like, yeah, it does kind of like a recap in the beginning, kind of recaps the first game and then the VR one, and then some other people joined in the chat and they're like, hey, do yourself a favor, play the VR one. It's like an hour and a half. They said there's a lot of shit it misses in that recap that they felt was important. Okay. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll just go through and play it versus on it, because I already have a copy. I was a part of the backer group on that one on PS4. So I haven't started it yet. But Like I said, I'm just going through that one. I was like, well, I'll just go through the first one, and figure out, because they said a lot of the callbacks in there is really, really cool if you played the first two games.
Those
they said
sort of
it's really,
payoffs.
really cool. Yeah. But they said, do you have to have it? No.
How does it play?
So,
Does the first one still hold up?
Yeah. I was still playing on PS4. I think I talked about it a couple weeks back when I started again. I'm just going through it now. I'm just going through the level design, and each level, I mean, it's a 3D platformer. I mean, the story's pretty good. I mean, like I said, I haven't really gotten that much further from the last time I played. So, and this probably be an ongoing thing for me. I think Brant played this a couple months ago. I could be wrong. As I picked up No More Heroes and going through that and went on the Switch because 3 comes out on Friday. So I'm like halfway through it. I'm ranked 5th.
You're playing the original 2 or that one that has all the mini games?
The original one. The first one. I'm going through them all. So I've already halfway through the game. I 100% went to strictly controller only mode and got away from the motion controls. I felt like if the motion controls were a lot more smoother, like Zelda, where I didn't have to do like a Jurassic this and Jurassic that to hit high and low.
Those are two extremes.
On the weapons. Yeah. You know, if I did slight, I might be more into it. But I was like, nah. I mean, they just map the high and low to X and Y on the controller, and then you have your kick on the B button for your close combat. So it also makes the game a lot more easier. And I don't sit there forever in boss battles. I'm like
the best version of those to play. You got the ports to Switch, you got the Wii ones, and you got the PS3 ones with the Move controllers.
The PS3 one is a weird version. So the PS3 one I will call it a 1.5 because it's like you have the first game, but then you have like weird fever dreams where you fight characters from the second game. So
not a true 1 and 2.
It's kind of like I guess if you were called to like an extended cut or a reimagining type thing, that would be what I would direct it as. The PC versions I've heard are, because I thought about playing the PC ones because there's still some jank in this game where you go in the overworld and the frame rates just drop like immediately as you get in there, and I'm like, this sucks. Even though there was a big update recently on there, it's not bad. It's just only as soon as you enter the world, it just kind of takes a hit and then it kind of goes back up there. It's noticeable. So I was like, maybe I'll do the PC one, but apparently the PC one has even more issues with the frame rate. So. A lot of people say to wait on that one, so I was like, eh. So, yeah. Outside of that, I mean, it still has that whole filter where it looks like you're watching the VHS tape, where you have some of the artifacting on there. Cool. On there, it has that aesthetic. The humor holds up well, in my opinion. It's still funny. There's not too many cringe moments, like how a lot of things have not aged well when it comes to that type of humor. Yeah. This one seems to age a little bit better. Scrubs is a bad one. Yeah, there's nothing like that on there, so. Man, I love Scrubs, but man, there's sometimes I'm like, at the whole of my breath, I'm like, I can't even laugh at that. I can't even. It's not even funny to me anymore. I laugh.
It can't be funny anymore.
Sometimes I laugh at something where it's so bad that I laugh, like I can't believe that happened. And for me, it's like it's not even funny. I'm like, oh.
Like this was on over-air television at one point.
Yeah. We can talk about Scrubs all day long. So yeah, I'm halfway through it because I talked to a coworker at work, and I was like, I know, Brian, have you played the minigame one?
No, but I know from things you said that apparently there's some relevance to that game.
So I won't go into too much details because he didn't give me the exact details, because I asked him, I was like, hey, do I really need to play this once? Like, he's all right. So he said, before you start the third game, are you going to know that Travis Touchdown's married? Are you going to know he has 2 kids? And I was like, all right, stop. I was like, don't tell me anymore. I'll play the game. He's like, all that's addressed in that game. I was like, because none of that happened in the second game. I was like, fuck. Yeah. I said, yeah. He said, there's a lot of stuff that. He said that game takes place 7 years after the second one. He said there's a lot that happens in between there. So I was like, all right, I'll fuck it. I'll go in there and play it. And I was like,
just locked in Brand's week.
Yeah, because like one of the characters from the first game that's dead, you find out how they come back in this game, and they're apparently on your team in the No More Heroes 3. And I'm like, all right, that's enough. I tell him that's enough. All right, that's enough. Yeah. I'll play the game. I don't want to do fucking mini games the whole time. He says it's not that bad. He's like, it's not that bad. It's like you get used to it. He said, but the story, he said, is very, very good. So he said you find out a lot about his personal life and then why he's going back to Santa Destroy. So that's kind of addressed in there too, because I think the third one takes place 2 years after that. So, and I think he said it'd be 30. I think he's 39 in the third game. I was like, damn, he's like 22 in the first one. I was like, it's a lot of shit that happened in the series so far. But But yeah, so I'm gonna go through them all. Definitely not gonna get it done in time before the third one comes out. I'll probably finish the first one tomorrow and start the second one, but I'm not confident on that third game, that the 2.5 or what the fuck you want to call it, and how fast I go through it. So we'll see. But I'll go through it all because I think I have a PS4 copy with all the DLC, and then I think the Switch one came with that DLC code in there too, where it comes up with the. So I'll figure out which one I want to play. I don't which one plays better. So I'll probably play that one. So, but yeah, that's it for me in games played. So
bring us home, Brant.
Yeah. I thought about picking up No More Heroes 2 and playing through it before Friday, and then I just never did. And now that you're telling me I've got not only that one, but a full another game.
There's a lot more to go.
It's like, oh, Lord. What I did play, I finished Phantom Hourglass.
At last. No more Phantom Hourglass updates.
The good thing that the thing that this game excels at is, the puzzles, and I mean, really the dungeons are really fun. When I was talking last week, I was going through like this kind of ice themed dungeon, and that's where you unlock your like hook shot kind of deal, the grapple. But this is it's like a hook on a rope. In this game, you use it kind of different than you have in most other Zelda games, where you can tether them. Yeah, you can tether it. You can jump up on the little places where you tether it and like tightrope walk, or you can use it, tether it between 2 points and like use it as a slingshot to fling yourself across other places. So,
it's like a multi-tool,
and you wind up having to use that to defeat the enemy there.
Classic Zelda,
which is like these two different like dragon heads, and one's red and one's blue, and they fire these different projectiles. So you have to tether your rope just right to where it bounces off and hits the opposing like serpent head. Yeah,
like Aqua Mentis with elements attached to them.
Yeah. And then the last area I had to go to was like this ruined kingdom, this ruined civilization, where there was like four guardians and then the king, and you had to go through, and you got like this hammer, and the boss fight for that it's like this giant golem kind of thing, and you have to go through first and like hit its outer layer and make everything crumble. And so it's got like these spots on its arms, all over its body, on the back of its head that you've got to hit, and you're just continually whittling away this golem by running to these different spots and like using the hammer on like these seesaw type deals and launching yourself up in the air and hitting all these places on the it's the boss fights and everything, the way it does everything is it's actually pretty damn cool. The ending fight, kind of like Cesar was saying in Skyward Sword, it was a little easy, but it actually had multiple parts, and the story plays out very good, and the ending, everything's good with how that game ends. I still like that game. It's definitely got some parts in there, like I said, it feels like it's kind of intentional padding at times, but overall it's still actually a really, really good Zelda game.
Phantom Hourglass.
See, other than that,
are you gonna go into Spirit Tracks?
No, I'll probably take a break. I've been like
that palate cleanser, man.
Palate cleanser, yeah.
I've been looking for some other stuff to do. So of course we're still playing Pokemon Unite here and there. We aren't hitting it like every day like we were before, but that's still one of those things where we just hop on and we'll have a few good matches, a few terrible matches, because it really seems like you either get saddled with a good team and you get everything going, and you're either facing people that are decent at the game, most likely children, or you're playing like people that have to be like have gotten off League of Legends to come to this because they just absolutely destroy you. So we'll have, like I said, a few good games.
Can you tell that they've paid for something, or is there something that you can tell they're better?
Not really.
You sent us Fabio Gannon. Can't stop laughing. Cesar, is that him?
I don't know if that's him. If you type in, for anybody that's listening, if you type in hydrated Gannon, you will get some interesting photos.
Oh, Fabio Gannon.
They're not necessarily like dirty, but
assless chaps.
He was wearing.
I think our Fabio Gannon.
No, I haven't seen that.
Had
one.
like shining long hair, like it was like majestic. I don't think it was quite that one.
It was full 3D. It was not a 2D image. And we were all there, even though Michael denies that it exists.
Michael
even though he said he was
true.
there as well. Yeah.
He blocked it from his memory.
Boy, remember he sat there and watched the whole concert on YouTube. He's like, I still don't see that shit. I was like, damn, I don't know if I was that dedicated to go through the whole concert on YouTube. So I just remember we were there because we joked about it with Russell. Russell was laughing about it. I know Russell confirmed.
I've seen that show twice. Fabio Gannon's in there.
It's an Atlanta exclusive. That's what it is. That's why.
Atlanta DLC.
Like, we're in Atlanta. Put the Fabio Gannon on there.
Oh man.
No, I mean it's got to, it's got to do with skill, but also, I mean, obviously, if you have a team that has more coordination, plus if there are certain things like you can see if they've got this skin for this costume, or this thing for their character, they're like, oh, they paid for that. They paid for that because that's the only way to get it. So obviously, if they paid for that, there's a good chance they paid for a few other perks.
I don't want to derail the conversation too much, but you reminded me that there's an anime called, and you thought there were no girls online.
Oh yeah,
there's a legit person in there who all of them do MMO game. They do the same MMO game, and there's one person who buys all the premium items and would just use it throughout the game, and was their bane of their existence because they're like, we beat them all. And it's like, yeah, you cheated your way through there, and they had to sit there and yell at her. It's like, stop using premium items.
They paid.
No premium items allowed, and she'd just die instantly because it's like, that's all I have. I can't use anything.
Yeah. Because when it comes to stuff like that, you don't have to outplay somebody; you just outpay them.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of premium items, I always go to that anime for whatever reason in my head. So,
other than that, my son and I played some games together. Sometimes I don't know what he's gonna pick when he comes in here, and he's just like, "Let's play something." And for some reason, he like gravitated toward the GameCube games, and he started like looking at stuff that was multiplayer. He picked out Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Okay.
He's like, this says it has multiplayer. I said, I don't remember that, but let me see. Okay, yeah. And we played some rounds of that.
How's that? I've never tried it.
Oh, it's actually pretty fun.
Is
it? And we started off. There's like there's team death, or there's just deathmatch, where you go out and just trying to get as many kills. Or it's first to like 10. Yeah, it's first to 10. And then there's another one where it's you're killing each other, and every time you like hit each other or kill each other, you drop these like tokens, and you're trying to collect as many of those as you can. And whoever has the highest score at the end of the match wins. And there's different power-ups. There's you can get to certain areas and get super missiles, or get invisibility, massive damage power-ups, and all of those things, last a very limited amount of time. There's one power-up that's just called Death Ball that like puts you into the morph ball, but you've got like a bunch of electricity around you, and if you go, it's just an automatic death.
That's awesome.
There was one time where I got it, and I just rolled up on him, and I rolled right to him like, it's not working. He goes, I just got invincibility, so I had to like run away.
Classic. And it's all on the same screen, right? You're doing split screen.
Split screen. Split screen, but it's up to 4 people. And I'm wondering if that's one of those where we could like land the GameCubes together.
Is it LAN supported?
You've got to look at that, because that would be awesome.
I gotta know.
And I don't want to go too much. I just want to mention that I was in that Wii U shop store the other day, and I noticed they also have Metroid Prime Hunters in there. There's like every fucking Metroid game on that Wii U, almost. Yeah. So.
And then I think it was because I started winning a good bit. I started getting the handle on Metroid Prime, and he was like, "Okay,
games.
Let's change it up." And he went over to the shelf and picked up Soul Calibur 2, which he knows he's like unreasonably good at for like no reason.
Really?
When I know he just button mashes.
It's like a special skill to button mash.
And we went back and forth, and for some reason I forgot, like forever ago, the way I had it set up is you get in, you have infinite time, and you go 5 rounds, and it's best of 5. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had it set up like this. And we went back and forth for a while, but we went 1-1. I'm like, okay, we got to do one more. And we did one more, and he whooped me. He whooped me so bad.
He's got you. He's got you in Soul Calibur. He had to up his ego back up again.
And the thing is, like every time he does something, like he can slightly figure it out, because I know he can do some of the things again. Like he was using Yoshimitsu, and like he was able to like figure out and do like the pogo mechanic where he like jumps on the sword and stuff. So, but we had, Soul Calibur is always a great time.
Fun. Are y'all playing on the CRT?
No. I have that HDMI. So we played HD, progressive scan, both of those games.
Yeah, they both support it. I don't see to update our LAN. It does not support LAN, and there's no bots apparently either.
Dang.
It's just
it's the darkest.
I knew there was no bots, but I was hoping there was LAN.
It could still be fun with 4 people.
I still want us to boot up Turok Evolutions on the GameCube and just that. So.
Oh Lord!
Do I have Evolution on game? I have it on Xbox. Has it got the same features?
It was just legit me spamming on Renee's out the chat, and he's not there anymore. But it was just me taking black hole cubes and just throwing black holes in different areas. And as soon as you get a black hole on you, you die instantly. And I was in a room with people pissed with my cousins. It's like all of us is pissed because we just keep throwing those damn bombs on each other. It's like instant death.
Great.
It's like you can't get out of it. It pulls you in. So it's like it's a black hole. It pulls you in to die. So it's like once you get it, you're dead.
I gotta play this now. We have to play. I know you've talked about this before.
Oh my gosh.
Turok Evolution, huh?
Yeah.
Did y'all rent it or something? Is that why you got so something?
I have it on the GameCube. I just I think Renee had a GameCube at the time.
Gotcha.
Gosh. For some reason, I think of...
back, maybe he might remember. Renee, we're talking about Turok Evolution on the GameCube, about us playing it all the time. So
now I want to play Soul Calibur too.
For some reason, I mean, we talked about black holes and cheating in games.
Renee doesn't remember the black cubes.
For some reason, that makes me think of Odd Job in GoldenEye, because he's so short, you can't just hit him normally.
Like Elvis from Perfect Dark.
Used to play that, and used to play WWF Day of Reckoning on there.
That was on GameCube?
Yep.
We played a shit ton of Time Splitters was our game that you were talking about with Turok, Cesar. We played a lot of Time Splitters too with the map editor and all that stuff. We'd stay up late as hell. It was literally that image you see with the 2 kids on the bunk bed and then 2 kids on the top. That was us with the GameCubes coming across from the dresser, the GameCube controller cords.
Oh.
Renee says he does remember the black cubes. Yes, he says.
Black hole cubes.
Black hole cubes. I gotta check this out now.
Let's see. I guess it was because of the Quake news and everything. I got
they called it Dark Matter Cube. Sorry.
Dark Matter Cube. I got a itch to play that kind of game. I threw in Doom 64 on the Switch. And played a few levels, I think 3 or 4 levels of that. and that's a good game.
Cesar, that's the one we tried. We couldn't beat the first level, right? We got stuck. Maybe the second level. We played it a couple of years ago and could not get very far.
Really?
Yeah, we got lost.
Native hardware. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't tell you what
Yeah.
to do when Richard got to the point where he was clicking everything and it just wouldn't proceed. That was on the EverDrive, right? We fired
Yeah,
up
we
on the
were playing
EverDrive. Is that what it was?
But I have a hard copy of Doom 64.
I mean,
We just couldn't get. We couldn't get anywhere. We were enjoying every part about it. Was like, damn, this is a good ass version of. It's not. It's not exactly.
I was about to say the second level was kind of confusing, and it took me a minute because there's like this long dark hallway that's just got like some blue spots, and you can get lost in that thing pretty easy because there's like three different ways out of it. But yeah, I got to at least like 4.
Where it's like, you guys are idiots. Go back to throwing your black hole cubes at each other.
And then the last thing that I actually started today, I threw in Doom, the 2016 game on Xbox, and holy shit!
And you're playing on Series X too.
Yeah,
Tearing toes done, man.
it's so good.
The
The pacing and the brutality of those those glory kills. It's so
you feel
good.
like a badass.
And
Yeah.
And then wait till you get to Doom Eternal and just be let down just a little bit.
Oh.
So enjoy this
But-
game because it does not get any better in the second one. The second one's good, it's just not better.
But I got to the point where I got my first what do they call them? The container. Then you can enhance your health or your armor, and yeah. So I got that, and now I have to go. Yeah, and I've got to go back out and go to the reactor because there's shit going down at the reactor and it's overheating. So I've got to go through and fight more of these demons, and it's so good though. It's so good. I love this combat. It's so satisfying.
I'm gonna have to download this and take a look at it. At least that intro Mars section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. I'm very, very pleased. I can't believe I've slept on this game so long.
Wait, you've never played this one? This is the first playthrough?
I've never played 2016.
Holy shit.
You talked so much about it,
shit.
and like it was once I got the Series X, I was like, that's one of those games I make sure I get it, and I downloaded it and it sat on there. I'm like, this is the game. I'm gonna play this for a minute, and it was, oh gosh. It's so good.
Great, man. I played the freaking Game Gear version of it. I played the worst
Yeah,
one.
I was gonna say you played it
And I
on
loved
Switch.
it. It was so good. Oh. Hell yeah, you're in for a treat.
but,
Keep us up to date on that one. Doom 2016 is a treasure.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's it for me.
That's our games played, and that's your video game news for the week. Check back next week with us. Cesar will have an update on No More Heroes. Brant will be playing more Doom 2016, and I will have another deep dive into Dead Space, hopefully, for you. Oh, nice little recap, right? Yeah, like how I added that.
Yeah.
Watch all three of us, none of us play those games I mentioned. And Gamescom may or may not continue, so.
Some Sea of Thieves, some Bridge
Played some
Crew.
Sea of Thieves.
I'm refreshing that page every 5 seconds for more developing news, and nothing's happened since.
Wait, on Sea of Thieves?
Gamescom. Sea of Thieves I gave up a year ago.
In the alpha, when they'd pull the plug on us and our ships would go sailing up in the
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I just remembered that Sea of Thieves and Borderlands are doing like a crossover event.
What? I didn't see that anywhere.
Yeah.
What does that
Yeah.
consist of?
Yeah. They're doing like Fortnite stuff now, where they're going out with different brands now and doing events now.
Cool.
There's gonna be more after that, but it's like what Brand said. It's started. The Borderlands is coming.
Yeah, it's like a Borderlands theme, like ship, and I think there's a couple characters that make some cameos.
That's cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.